I do have one comment also. Thank you for that. The first slide, which was talking about back in the 90s, where people were thinking that, it was a disease of hysterical women and all of that. And I saw on the left-hand side of the slide, stress, trauma, things like that. There's a still a contingency of people who, and I understand why they're thinking that, who are like, well, I got really stressed and I got SIBO. You've talked about the military example in the past. Could you share that one more time for people who are just hearing it, or as a reminder or for the first time?
Yeah, so my good colleague and friend Mark Riddle, Dr. Mark Riddle, he used to be at the Research Institute for the U.S. military in Bethesda, and in Silver Spring actually. And so he's no longer there. But what they found was that if you were in deployment, they looked at the factors in deployment, because these people were coming back from deployment in Iraq and Afghanistan. They were coming back with IBS. So what in deployment was the highest risk factor? Well, it turned out it wasn't stress. It wasn't whether you shot a gun, witnessed human death or suffering, or yourself was injured or maimed or had some kind of traumatic event. It was food poisoning, if you got food poisoning in combat. So it was the first example of looking at a person going through time, what they experienced, and why IBS developed. And it was food poisoning, and it wasn't all these stressful events. And I can tell you, in the US, in general, we're not going to experience the type of stress that somebody in combat military operations might experience. That's extreme. And so if that doesn't do it, how is it that my boss got mad at me today and I'm stressed going to do it? I'm not saying, we need to do more studies on stress and its effect on the gut. We know stress affects the gut. We know it changes the migrating motor complex. Does it make it worse? Yes. Is it the cause of IBS? I would argue that we have evidence that it's probably not the cause of IBS. It is a modifying factor.